And Civic Media's meteorologist Brittany Merlot is here. Good morning. I know you're sad,
I
Brittany.
am. I'm
I
so
know.
sad. I have been crying just as much as the snow has been melting across the state, honestly.
That's
You
a
are
lot. I talked to a doctor.
I know
you're a
I
winter
want to.
you're a winter weather fan. You're all into the winter sports and snowmobiling and cross country skiing and all those things. And yeah, those opportunities just kind of went whoosh.
Yep, they are gone. Just as fast as they got here, they melted away. I mean, we're just a muddy mess up north now.
Yeah.
I know it is down south as well, but I mean, we went from 12 inches of snow on the ground to just some piles now, the plowed piles that are lingering. Some shaded areas in the woods still have a little bit of snow, but even far up north, Hurley, Wisconsin only has 4 inches on the ground. So all snowmobiling done, skiing, everything, like you said.
Well, the Berkey got off okay, which is a good thing.
Yes. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
The Birkebeiner got to do a regular run this year as opposed to last year. But I was kind of surprised. I know in the Milwaukee area in southeastern Wisconsin, we didn't get nearly the snow that you did. But even looking around my neighborhood, all I could think of was most of it got absorbed. And that shows me just how far behind we are as far as moisture is concerned.
Yes, absolutely. 50% of the state, as of early last week, was in a moderate drought. So half of the state needed this melt. They needed the precipitation, and we definitely have more on the way. So it's not going to stop here. And we're entering, as these seasons shift, the flooding season. There's a whole nother
Yes.
bucket of concerns headed our way.
So what is coming? What are we looking at? Today is Thursday. What are we looking at for the weekend and then even into early next week? Because I know you don't like to forecast too far out.
Yeah. So, the biggest concern right now is the lakes, the Great Lakes, honestly. We're going to see some winds, very, very feisty, gusting up to about 40 to 50 miles per hour on land. This is going to start overnight tonight and through tomorrow. So
All
it's already going
across
to be
Wisconsin?
Yes. So we're going to see some potentially wind advisories going out. We could see some power outages. So the brutal winds will have to battle. But here's the thing. We went from ice coverage on the lakes to a rapid melt. I mean, they lost like 20% of ice coverage. So everything's broken up and melting. And then you're going to get these waves. There's gale watches and warnings on Lake Superior and Lake Michigan. And if you think about them climbing up to 10 feet high, moving those ice sheets around, we're looking at potentially some damage that could happen along lake shores. So Lake Michigan tomorrow morning will be your biggest threat, but then the winds shift and then it turns to the south shore of Lake Superior tomorrow afternoon and through those evening hours. So lakeshore areas, kind of looking out for that ice, kind of moving in and shoving on shore. That's going to be the next thing. And then also river areas. We have all this melt that just melted, all this
Right.
precipitation. Takes a minute for it to get to the river basins. They're starting to swell. So right here in Wausau, we're in an action level right now in the Wisconsin River. So we could see some flooding pretty soon. And I'm just watching those river gauges rise and rise across the state. I mean, the ground was still frozen. We still have frost about 15 to 32-inch depth out there. So this water's got to go into those rivers. And those ice chunks are going to break up and start floating down,
Yep.
and then they could get jammed and cause more flooding. So flooding season, guys.
It's if you've never seen the impact of ice shoves, just do a Google search on it. For those of us who don't live along the lakeshore and along the shores of one of the Great Lakes, that can be massively destructive.
Yes, nothing stops them. They'll push houses right off their foundation if there's enough, and these winds are going to be strong enough.
Any more precipitation coming our way in the next week or so? Any more rain on the way?
So we're looking at a quick shot of light snow up north tonight, but other than that, we have a big cold front pushing through tomorrow, which is why it's going to get so windy. So that could spark up a few scattered showers or a few flurries with that as it moves through tomorrow afternoon. But then we're really keeping an eye on the bigger storm that hits Tuesday and into Wednesday next week. This one is going to pack a punch. It's got a lot of precipitation with it and moisture, and it could put down some snow accumulating into portions of the state. Now, of course, we don't know exactly where because that thing is changing and bouncing everywhere, but it is going to hit Wisconsin, and we are looking at a good 1 to 2 inches of precip. So in the form of rain or in the form of snow, depends where you live.
And that's Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yep, and that's a big, massive amount of precip after we just melted all that snow. So
Right,
flooding is
right.
definitely going to be happening by next weekend in a lot of places.
I want to reiterate something. I think you mentioned on Pat's show last week that for the most part, and by your expertise and your wizardry work in weathering, we're out of the cold snaps. The deep freeze colds were moved past that point, and now we're going to have those 30s and 40s days, but none of these 30 below zero days. And is that by your best judgment? Is that where we're at?
Yes, I think we're out of that. No more deep freeze, Arctic cold blast, or anything like that. Now, again, temperature is going to be shifting. Even Saturday, we're going to be all below freezing in the 20s. So that's kind of the swing we're going to be going through as we go through the next few months. But no, pretty much major warm-ups and some mild cold snaps behind it is what we're looking forward to.
It's only, we're only at the end of February. We have all of March we got to get through yet. Mother Nature, every once in a while, likes to come in with one of those March storms, and it's that really heavy, wet snow, which disappears in 2 days, but it's a major pain in the neck. So we're not completely out of the woods yet.
No, we're not. I see a couple of those in the future, so hang on tight.
She's smiling. She's happy.
Of course, she's smiling. She's
I feel like Dr. Evil over here.
inconvenient snow makes you happy.
Hey, it's my job. Got to give me
That's
something
right.
to do.
That's
Sunny?
exactly.
Sunny
Sun is-
California, I couldn't do it. Nope, too boring.
How boring would Hawaii be for a meteorologist, right?
Couldn't do it.
Why bother?
No way. Yeah.
Yeah, why bother? It's the same every day.
Until it's a hurricane, and you're
Well-
like, "Oh, it's gonna get windy."
Keep an eye on the winds tonight and tomorrow, and especially if you've got big trees, the ground is pretty saturated, so that might cause some issues and maybe some downed power lines as well. Brittany Merlot is Civic Media meteorologist for a little weather and wine. She joins us every Thursday. Thank you so much, Brittany. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Stay with us. We're going to talk all things sports with J.R. Radcliffe from the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel on the other side of the news. You are listening to the Civic Media Radio Network.